All right, so we're looking at another Eaton Ripper Autococker. This is another one of Paul's that he brought over for us to check out. And this is one that he got with the gloss black one that was traded by White Wolf Airsmithing to the original owner, Kurt, when Kurt built a custom computer for White Wolf Airsmithing. And when we look at this, it's almost identical to the gloss black Ripper, but there are a few small exceptions. So when Kurt actually received this body kit, he received the front block, the body, the back block, and the vertical ASA, and it was up to him to actually finish it into a completed marker. And he did that using mostly stock WGP parts. When we look at this, we can see that the trigger frame, the 15-degree ASA, the front block are all stock WGP parts, but they are all pretty nice WGP parts, and they work really well on this build. When we look at this body, I'm going to zoom in for some close-ups now, or I'm going to change my focus for some close-ups. We can actually see that one of the coolest things on it is the back block was not made from a stock WGP back block, but instead it was made from a cap back block. So when we look at the back block right here, we can see that it actually has two cuts, and it has the start of a third cut where it was actually cut down, and it has the hook on the bottom, which is a telltale sign that it was a cap back block. So that's pretty cool, not something you would see. And then on the caulking rod, it's also pretty neat. I don't know if the actual spirals were polished internally or if they were masked, but you actually don't have any anodizing inside of the spiraling, so that's kind of neat. Looking at the milling on the body, it is identical to the black Ripper. And as Paul mentioned in the other video, this is a convertible Ripper, so it lacks the sight rail and is one of the later generations. Probably a few hundred Ripper autocockers were made, so they're not necessarily rare, but they are definitely uncommon to see, especially lately. Ripper autocockers were likely machined around the year 2000 to 2003, maybe even 98 to 2003. They were probably made on a case-by-case basis by Eaton, as someone would send their guns in or he would get actual orders for them. So I would imagine they are all by generation the same, but there could have been small things that were done because he probably wasn't just buying 300 WGP bodies and just machining them all at one time. He would probably have custom shops such as White Wolf Airsmithing send in a batch of 10 bodies that he would machine, and then White Wolf Airsmithing would actually sell those on the White Wolf Airsmithing site. One thing that the owner of these guns, Kurt, did mention to Paul is that these were guns that were possibly pictured on the White Wolf Airsmithing site. Around what year? Did he give any other information on that, Paul?
He did give more information, but not the year that these guns were listed on the site. Rather, the information he gave me told me that the names that were listed on the site, which was one gun was for Kurt and one was for Aaron. So if you guys remember the site at all or can go back and look on Web Archive, then these will be listed as Kurt and Aaron.
So we're going to look that up, and we're going to see if the former owner is telling the truth. It's going to be basically like a lie detector test. I don't know if he'll pass, but we'll find out. Very cool. The transition of the fade on this one is super radical. So let's get a look at the ASA now, which matches. So as we mentioned earlier, these were actually traded to the owner, Kurt, as body kits and not as complete guns, and then he put them together. And one thing that one thing I didn't notice on this is that it has milling on one side of, I guess, the front of the ASA, and then on the back we can see it's recessed right there, so it's likely the back where the caulking rod actuator goes in. It doesn't have milling there. Let's see, where's my focus at? Which is pretty neat. Hadn't noticed that before. Very cool.
Thank you.
One thing that's not stock is the Supreme sticker, and this is OG Supreme. Any Supreme fans will know that because it's blue instead of red, and that actually dates it to a certain year, and I don't know anything about Supreme, so I'm just making that up.